What
friends.
makes a good friend? Hold on.
How many friends do you have? If I ask you that question right now, some of you might immediately spit out a number 5, 10, maybe a whole Discord server. Others might have to sit back and really think about it for a minute. But let me change that question just slightly. If your life completely fell apart tomorrow, if you lost your money, your status, your comfort, and you were stuck in a situation where you had absolutely nothing to offer anyone, how many of those people would still be?
I saw this on TikTok the other day. It was a question. Um, it was a question, and it was at your funeral, who would be the last person at your grave? And whoever it was, there's one person in mind that probably comes to mind. It was probably my mum that came to my mind, and I said, keep that person close in your life, because it might seem that you might take them for granted a little bit, but you know, you need to keep them close. That's probably the closest person in your life, and you need to keep them. Make sure you don't lose that person. That's basically what it was saying, and I think it kind of hit. Kind of hit.
Standing next to you. That number shrinks fast. There's a massive misconception in our generation about what friendship actually is. We have blurred the lines between a friend and an acquaintance. And because of that, a lot of you are surrounding yourselves with people who don't actually care about you. You just hang out with them because it's convenient. Think about it. A lot of the people you consider friends are just friends in circumstances. You go to the same school, you work at the same shift, you play the same game, you share a schedule, not a bond. The moment that shared environment disappears, the moment you graduate or quit that job, the friendship evaporates completely, and you never hear from them again. That wasn't a real friendship. That was just two people surviving boredom together.
Yeah, that's so real. See, even like work friends, college friends, I think making an actual friendship is, even friends in your adult life, is so hard to make. I don't think you, Isaac, I said what's up, man? Welcome in. But friends, yeah, I had a lot of friends in college, but we never hanged out outside the college. It was only in college we'd talk, and that was it.
Because being alone
After I left, it was just kind of like, oh, you know, it was like, you know what we said. I was like, oh yeah, we should go out for a drink sometimes. They were like, yeah, sure, that sounds great. Let me know when. And I was like, yeah, I'll let you know. And I've never spoke to them again. They've never texted me, I've never texted them. And it's just kind of, people move on, and they're in your life for a little bit, and then they leave. And it's okay. People come and go. And it's how life is, but
is terrifying. We want the illusion of a full roster. We want to feel chosen. But having 20 people to go to a party with is useless if you don't have one person you can call at 3 a.m. when your mental health is in a gutter. So what actually makes a good friend? To me, a true friend is someone who operates on your wavelength. I'm talking about someone who shares your ambitions, your goals, and your underlying mindset. When you're trying to level up in life, whether that means starting a business, getting into shape, or just improving your mental state, the people around you will act as either engines or anchors. Fake friends get extremely uncomfortable when you start trying to improve. They will mock your ambition. They will tell you to relax, to take a day off, to stop taking things so seriously. Why? Because your self-improvement holds a mirror up to their compliance. If you succeed, it proves that you could be succeeding too, but they're just too lazy to try. A real friend doesn't do that. A real friend is in the trenches with you. When you tell a real friend about a massive, crazy goal you have, they don't laugh. They look at you and say, oh, okay, how do we get there? They want you to win just as badly as they want to win themselves. There's no secret jealousy. There's no subtle competition. Your victory is their victory. Finding someone who genuinely claps for you when you win is incredibly rare. But here's the flip side of that coin, and it's a hard truth a lot of people don't want to hear. If you want a friend like that, you have to be a friend like that. You cannot demand—
Holy shit. My mum always said this. It was so fuck. If you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. I've always lived by that.
Loyalty, ambition, and deep connection if you are entirely self-absorbed. Being a good friend—
No, there's another one. And it was like, act the way that you would like to be treated or something. It was like, treat other people the way you want to be treated. And I think that's so important in life. If you don't treat other people the way you want to be treated, then what's the point? I think genuinely being like not nice to someone, I don't see the point. You don't know what they're going through. They don't know what you're going through. Yeah, but then you get called just a people pleaser, though. No, but like a people pleaser, I suppose. But you need. No, I think a people pleaser is someone that like they thrive off of making people happy. I think that's a people pleaser. I think someone that just treats someone the way they would want to be treated is different. I think it's different because um it's not all like you're not just saying stuff to make people happy. I think that's completely different from um like being real. I think being real with someone and being fake to make them happy is more important, if you understand.
It is not a passive activity. It requires actual effort. It means listening to them when you'd rather be talking about yourself. It means showing up to their wins even when you are currently losing in your own life. And crucially, being a good friend means having the spine to tell them the truth. A fake friend will watch you make a terrible decision and keep their mouth shut because they don't want to deal with the friction.
Holy fuck, it's the chicken jockey chamber. I'm so sorry.
Real friend will look you dead in the eye and call you out on your nonsense. They will tell you when you're being
what's up,
lazy,
Cleo?
when you're treating someone badly, or when you're ruining your own life. It might cause an argument, but they value your long-term well-being over your short-term comfort. I know how important this is because I had to learn it the hardest way possible. A few years ago, I had a really close friend, someone I would have confidently called a brother. We had the exact same mindset, we had the exact same sense of humor, the same drive, but as time went on, I got way too comfortable. I started treating his loyalty as a given. I would dismiss his problems because I thought mine were bigger. I would make jokes at his expenses. I would flake on plans because something better came up, assuming he would just always be there waiting for me. I treated him like a background character in my
I think
own
that's really
movie,
important.
rather
I think taking people for granted is something people do way too often, and it bites them. Cleo says because nobody ever cares about me, and they all told me to. Cleo, that's not true. I care about you, but I think a lot of people take people for granted. And I think I watched a video, and it was this girl crying in her room, and she was saying, her whole life she's pushed people away, and now because she wanted to be alone, she liked being alone, but now she's grown a bit older, and she just feels alone. She's had many chances to like go out and like make an effort and see people, and she chooses not to, and now she has no one. And I think it's so easy to want to be alone and be like, oh yeah, they'll always be there, because I see them every day and stuff, and I'm not gonna hang out with them after school, because why would I? I see them in school. But you need to make an effort. It's you need to make an effort. If you want someone to make an effort for you, sometimes you need to take that first step. I think people struggle to do that.
than a partner. And the terrible thing about taking a good person for granted is that they usually don't blow up at you. They just slowly, quietly pull away. By the time I had actually woken up, looked in the mirror, and realized how toxic and self-centered I had become, the damage was completely done. The bridge was burned. I tried to fix it, but it was too late. The trust was gone. Losing a true friend because of your own arrogance is a specific kind of regret that stays with you forever. It completely changes how you view relationships. We walk around acting like genuine ride-or-die friends are a renewable resource. We treat people like they're disposable just because there's 8 billion more of them on the planet. But finding someone whose soul actually resonates with yours, someone who will defend your name.
This makes me want to text my friends. I've got a couple friends I've not texted in a long time. I should probably check up on them. I'm not.
In a room you aren't even in, someone who will push you towards succeeding and pull you out of the mud, that's a 1 in a million lottery ticket. But here's a trap that catches so many people who are trying to level up: the guilt of outgrowing your friends. We were taught that loyalty is the ultimate virtue, and it is, but a lot of us confuse loyalty to a person with loyalty to history. You have this friend you've known since middle school, you used to do everything together, but now you're trying to build a future, get your mind right, and focus on your goals, and all they want to do is gossip, complain, and waste their weekends. Whenever you hang out with them, you feel drained. You feel like you have to shrink yourself, numb down your ambitions, and pretend you care about drama just to keep the peace. Listen to me, it's okay to outgrow people. It doesn't mean they're a bad person, and it doesn't mean you're a villain. It just means the season of that friendship is over. If you force yourself to stay in a friendship you've outgrown purely out of nostalgia, you're going to end up resenting them, and you're going to sabotage your own growth. You cannot drag someone up a mountain if they are completely determined to stay at the bottom. Sometimes the
You cannot drag someone up a mountain if they're completely determined to stay at the bottom. That is, if they're not willing to do it, it's not going to happen. I think that correlates to a lot of things in life as well. If you're not willing to do something, how do you expect for it to fucking happen? I'm not. Wow.
most respectful thing you can do for the both of you is to just let the distance happen naturally. And that brings me to another massive test of real friendship. How do they handle conflict? Fake friendships are incredibly fragile. They exist entirely on good moods and convenience. The moment there is friction, a disagreement, a misunderstanding, text, a time when you have to say no to hanging out because you need to work or sleep, the whole relationship shatters. They guilt trip you, they talk behind your back, they ghost you. A real friendship is anti-fragile. It gets stronger when it's tested. Think about the best friend you've ever had. I guarantee you've had moments where you were absolutely furious at each other. But a real friend respects you enough to have the uncomfortable conversation. They don't just run away when the vibes get slightly weird. They sit down, they hash it out, they apologize if they were wrong, and you move on forward. If you have to constantly walk on eggshells around someone because you're terrified that one wrong move will end the friendship, that's...
I think you see it in like male friendships and female friendships. I think male friendships, they have a lot... That's what I think. I don't know if it's... Well, between my friends and stuff, I think male friends are a lot better at this. They're able to, if someone says something, they're able to take a joke and go like, I'm not saying women can't take a joke, but I think women are a lot more serious and they care a lot more about like the way people act. I think like I could call my friends motherfuckers right now, they wouldn't care. Yo, you guys are a bunch of motherfuckers. I don't know, I was testing. I'm watching a video about friends. I'm saying guys can take it. Guys are a lot better at friends compared to girls, I think.
What was the model answer there?
Well, I was trying to do
Why
an
do you think
example.
that,
I was
Jude?
trying to do an example that I could come in the call and call you motherfuckers, and we'd still be friends.
Now we're not friends. Leave the call.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah, but that's a good example. He just said we're not friends, and I can still guarantee you that we are friends. But I think maybe if a girl friendship did that, I think it might, go a different path. I don't know. That's just my take.
It's not your friend. That's a hostage situation. A real friend loves you enough to let you be human, make mistakes, and have bad days without threatening to abandon you. And honestly, one of the most underrated traits of a top-tier friendship is that it's completely low maintenance. Society constantly pushes this idea that if you aren't texting someone 24/7, keeping a streak alive, or hanging out with them every single weekend, then the friendship is dying. But as you get older and your goals get bigger, that kind of constant communication just becomes exhausting. A true friend understands that you have a life, you have to build things, and you have days where you just need to turn your phone off and disappear to protect your own peace. The best friendship I have ever seen are the ones that can go 3 weeks or even 3 months without speaking, and the second you sit down together, you can pick up exactly where you left off. There is
No, that's crazy. I've got a next door neighbour, right? We grew up all through childhood together. Everything, we've not spoke for maybe like since primary school. Primary school was maybe 7 years ago. Excuse the 6, 7, but 7 years ago. Okay, I can still see him in the street when I drive home from work, and we can still have a conversation. I still say hi, oh what's up, how you been, and we talk. And I think those type of friends, maybe they're the real ones. I don't. I think you need to keep them close, and I'm gonna be honest. I've let a lot of them go because it was me, 3 other people that grew up all together where I live, and we all went to different schools, we all went to different jobs, different work, different everything. And I think I'm still able to talk to them, every single one of them, pick up exactly where we left off as children, even in primary school. And I, I think you need to keep those relationships really close in your life, or at least don't let go of them. At least put an effort in, because maybe I'll see them. I will see them this year sometime, but I don't know. I think maybe when one of us move away, we need to stay close, because letting go of that, I think maybe loses. I don't know.
Aggressiveness. There was no guilt tripping. There was no, oh, look who finally decided to text me back attitude. They just get it. They understand the grind. That level of mutual understanding where the connection doesn't require constant validation to survive is where the actual peace is. It proves that the foundation of a relationship is built on deep respect, not just desperate need for attention. If you're lucky enough to have even one person like that in your life, you need to hold them close. You need to text them. You need to check up on them. You need to protect that relationship with everything you have. Because I promise you, you don't want to realize their value after watching them walk away. Your circle should be sanctuary, not a waiting room. Cut the dead weight. Let go of the people who only text you when they need a favor. Let go of the people who secretly hope you fail. Empty the crowded room of acquaintances and make space for the one or two people who are actually going to help you build the life you want. Because at the end of your life, your legacy isn't going to be about what you built. It's going to be about who you had standing next to you while you built it. Keep the right people close and be someone worth keeping around.
Wow. He said at the end there, be someone worth keeping around. Not just you. Don't just keep don't just keep the saying that, there's a quote, it goes a bit like something like, if you keep low people with you, you'll stay low. I think that might be one of the most, I think you leech off of your friends, not in a bad way, but I think you and your friends become almost intertwined. You have the same views, same aspects in life, you do the same things. And I think if you choose the wrong people to do that with, I think you'll end up in a hole that maybe you can't get out of. I don't know. That's just my take.